and welcome to The Singer's Piano, where we talk about everything to do with piano, vocal and songwriting for self-expression and healing. Now, today's topic is a little bit heated, and it really is about my opinion on why you don't need to read music to be able to sing and play the piano. Now, when I was a little girl, I never had piano lessons. In fact, being dyslexic, I really struggle with reading music. I was very fortunate. I've been to drama school. I went to a pretty good school in Jersey where there was opportunities to learn music, but I couldn't do it. And I remember being in the music room and Miss Stevenson, literally, I was writing like the treble clef, and she just said to me, "You will never be a professional musician," and shamed me and put me down straight away. And that was when I was about 13 years of age, and I loved singing. And not only that, she didn't know this, but I was already starting to teach myself how to play the piano. So of course, I made it mean that I was never going to be a professional piano vocalist. So this is why I'm really passionate about the fact that you do not need to read a note of music. I want to justify why I'm saying this. Before the 70s, if we look at the history of music, we had the folk musicians that never read a note of music, and then we had the classical musicians that were all about reading music. And so we've had these two, I'd say, improvisational musician and reading music, classical musician, for centuries. However, in the school system, it was made very, very clear that you had to read music. Put your hands up if you're watching this and you were like, well, of course you have to read music to be able to play piano. Of course you do. Yeah, I felt like that for years. When in actual fact, you may be an intuitive musician. So what do I mean by an intuitive musician? An intuitive musician is someone who sits at the piano and they can kind of hear, like audiovoyant, like they can kind of hear it. And I remember going to the piano and just like playing it and being able to kind of hear the next note. So I remember so clearly, I didn't even know what chords were, but I knew if I played that note, I could then hear na na na. So in my head, I could already hear the harmony. That's your C major chord. Now, I knew that. I'd never heard of the C major chord. I couldn't read music, but in my head, my intuition was telling me what I needed to play. For those of you that are struggling to read music, you honestly do not have to read music to be able to accompany your voice on the piano. In fact, you don't even really need to know the chords. I spent years making up my own songs before I even understood the chords. Now, how did I do that? I did that from being an intuitive musician, from getting curious, yeah? So from like literally playing the black notes. So in fact, I'm going to show you my hands, and I'm going to show you how, without reading a single note of music, you can do this. I've done this in another video, but I'm going to show with you now, right? So these are my hands. Now, imagine you're not able to read any notes of music whatsoever, but you can just like play just anything. And it's uncomfortable. For some people, they don't like it. They like to have the structure. They like to know exactly what they're playing. But for some of you intuitive souls out there, this may be the way forward with learning to play the piano, because if you've had classical lessons before, you've really struggled to get it, you haven't understood it, you may have felt that you are a triangle desperately trying to fit into a square, then I would say this is for you. All right. So if we go back to the piano, like let's just improvise around the white notes. This is what I mean. You don't have to read music to just play some music. So I'm just using my intuition. I'm literally just listening to the piano. Now, some of you may be saying, okay, All right, Sam, but I don't want to just make up some random tune on the piano. I actually want to be able to sing my favourite pop song by Adele. In which case, I would advise you to learn chords. But again, you don't have to read music to learn chords. And I see this all the time where people are stifled because they think that in order to be the piano vocalist that they want to be, in order to turn professional, in order to kind of really reach that desire and that dream to be a singer-songwriter, they have to read music. And then they don't have the time to learn to read music because it's like learning French, yeah? Especially as an adult, it's really hard. But what if it wasn't hard? What if you just had to learn a few different patterns? And what if those patterns were played 3 times in a song? Do you think that you could do that? Do you think that you could find a triangle pattern on the piano? So look, let me show you. So this is what I call a triangle chord. Yeah, can you see that pattern? That's your D. And then if you take your hand and you move that down to the A, that's your A. Triangle. I call them triangle chords in my course. And then if you move your hand down even further, that's an E. So we've got E major, A major, and D major. How easy is that? And if I told you that you could sing a whole song based on 2 of those chords and 1 more chord, would you believe me? Because you can. There are hundreds of 3-chord songs that you can literally just play a simple chord and sing over the top. So for example, if you could play the D and then you move your hand down to the A, and then if you could find the next pattern, which I call a claw chord, this is G. So we have G, B, and D, yeah? So it's like a claw chord. Do you think that you could do that pretty quickly? So all you have to do is find 2 patterns, a triangle and a claw. And if you know the notes on the piano, you can like pencil them D, C. Like I always get my students to pencil the notes if they don't know them. Find that triangle chord on the D, you find that triangle chord on the A, and then you move down to the G. Do you think that you could do that? You don't have to read a note of music to be able to accompany your voice on the piano, I promise you. The Beatles did it. Ray Davies did it. So many famous rock stars have never read a note of music in their entire life. And they have written the most phenomenal songs out there. So I'm just going to play for you. This is what 2 triangle chords and 1 claw chord will get you. All my bags are packed, I'm ready to go. I'm standing here outside your door. Hate to wake you up to say goodbye. Well, the dawn is breaking, it's early morn. The taxi's waiting, it's blowing his horn. Ready, I'm so lonesome I could die. 3 chords, 2 triangle chords, and 1 claw chord. Now, am I adding lots of other notes in? Yes. Is that something that's going to take you time to play? Yes. I'm not going to lie to you. But you can still just play the G. So this is just this very simple. I'm going to show you my hands. Very, very simple. So we've got the triangle chord. All my bags are packed. I'm ready to go. Standing here outside your door. Hate to wake you up to say goodbye. Triangle, claw. Triangle. With or without you. With or without you. I can't live. With or without you. Do you see how easy that could be for you to be able to accompany your voice on the piano with just 3 chords? 2 triangle chords and 1 claw chord. And this is what I'm trying to say, is that you do not need to read music, my friend. You really don't. And if you have enjoyed this, you're really excited, you want to learn more, simply click on the link below. I have a free PDF guide teaching you how to sing, play, and write your very first song without reading any music. Click on the link below and I will email it directly to you. And if you have enjoyed this, please subscribe and I will see you in next week's tutorial. All right, take care guys. Bye.